Okay, Jaden. Yo, everybody. Welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome to the Master Fren live stream. Pumptown. What's up? Good. Clove Hitch Corey. I'm gonna just go on a limb and say you're Crypto Corey. Hi, Crypto Corey. Freeloading? What do you mean? Yeah, word up. Word up. Don't give up, man. You know, it's funny because we just had a few weeks of just absolute garbage and a lot of frustration with new traders, people who expect too much of themselves too quickly. And then you show back to the scene. I mean, the break you took was kind of divine intervention, really, because, you know, not only it served multiple, it did you multiple favors. All right, it kept you out of the chop because this was, and I mean, you're gonna have to learn how to withstand this eventually, but then you come back into the scene and price just starts moving exactly how we would expect it to move. So I'm giving you a fair warning. Don't let today make you, give you, starstruck eyes, because it's not always glamorous, okay? This Friday here whooped my butt because I was expecting this draw on liquidity down here and I wouldn't let it go for the day, and it just had nothing to provide me. Of course, it runs the next day, right? So that was my the beginning of my whoopsie daisy, and then I was very disciplined in my recovery up until this point here. I turtle soup short that, and it got me, and then of course went my direction. So it's just solidifying things for me about being patient and not being too convicted in my TA, because even I can be incorrect. And also the chop, and then of course my trades afterward, my one trade afterward. Point being, when the price action's nice, it's really nice. It's easy to make money. It's really easy. We're not supposed to use that word, but once you know what you're doing, it's easy to make money. But it's like 10x easier to lose all that money. So, being very, disciplined, content, and patient. I've been saying this for a few months, and I don't want to trade every day, and I really don't. And last week I took one trade and I did really good, and now I feel like I don't have to trade all month, and it's the beginning of the month already. So it's like less is so much more. So just everything that I've been walking, this path that I've been walking, is just everything's been driving everything I've been learning home. And now I feel so much more comfortable than ever. So let's check out our analysis from last night here. I was mentioning we could probably see it come up into this box for Monday, maybe Tuesday, and then I would want to see it start running out sell side liquidity here and just into the IPTA data range equilibrium 60-day. I'm framing an external range run, and I'm pretty sure this will be our buy signal for November's new all-time high. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So let's see what the election brings. The election, I want to see it drop into here like violently. The reason why is we got a big giant news driver, and I'm looking at this, and I'm not looking at this in retail, retail eyes, but more of whale retail, right? So if you were a hedge fund and you were looking at this chart just the way it is, who's in profits right now? Well, the longs are in profits right now, and it's above quote unquote support. And you can, just with that logic, you can see where everybody's pool of liquidity is. Right there. All the way up into here. So how far does it dig in here? I can't tell you that. I'm not ICT. But I can tell you that it's likely going to draw down there before the moonshot. So why would it want to do this? Because the market makers love to order pair. So they'll come and pick up these losers' positions and then trade them for these losers. And using the commitment of traders, we're in a buy program. So our job in our overall analysis is to be buying underneath old lows. Now I am considering this, but there's so much chop in here and a lot of, equal lows, a fair value gap. You go into the weekly time frame, there's a tiny little piece of this fair value gap open. I believe it was like a couple of ticks, or did it close? Yeah, 18 ticks of a gap there. So that still counts, okay? Do not exclude those at all. So within this big giant couple of candlesticks here, it's not something really obvious in the week. It's more in the day you see that fair value gap, but it aligns with this balanced price range here. So I really, really enjoy this. I wasn't even going to bring this up. I was going to save this stuff for later when we start cruising back below. If we start cruising back below here, right? How far does it want to dig before it reverses? That's the whole game, how we play. So I'm going to like to have that on my charts as well. That has a tiny little tail, but so it's just not that obvious in the week. So we drop to the day, and all of a sudden things just make sense. There's that balance range in the week. There's the fair value gap, our order block, a proper order block. And it just looks like it wants a discount before running up. And it might not run up to an all-time high. They might switch net short randomly, not randomly, but when they decide. And then I want to target this just because it's so equal. And if I just look at that as a whole, I'm going, oh man, that looks so good. It just looks so good. It's perfect. It's so freaking perfect. Like, why wouldn't this 2022 model in the weekly time frame play out? You got a savage shift in structure, left a double bottom, came up for the order block and balanced range, couldn't get a close above, sensitivity. We got our order block here. That was the order block in the week right there that we found a high at today, last lap. And it looks like it wants this. Like, if I was playing this in the 15-minute time frame, I would be so short right now. And I kind of am. So this candlestick here this week is going to confirm if we've got a swing high in the weekly time frame, and then we can seek a discount, and we will target that later if it's in a buy program. So in a buy program, you drop just to rise. Where are you going to drop to? Well, we'll find out, because it'll tell us, and it will be really sweet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending where you're at. So cool. We got people from all over the place here. What's up? Order filled. We got Captain Edge, we got Jesse, Sam, Love Learning. What's up, Jake Sully? I wish we could put memes in here. So bad. I'm gonna message Google and be like, yo, give us memes in the chat. I guess people would be like trolling hard, eh? Oh, don't want to do that. I just thought about that. Remember that Love Learning when we eek. Holy moly, that was funny. Need to watch the 2022 model. No, you don't. No, you don't. You already have your mission. It's in your original class. Okay, watch that again. Go and hunt these little things, these little nuggets. Okay, so anyway. Came up, couldn't quite dig into the previous highs candle, but we did hit that weekly order block here, and this, I think it was a new week or old week opening gap, finding a high there, and then, you know, I think, yeah, we traded down, left that alone right there. So you can see that annoying thing that we do all the time, where we take that candle's low here, but don't take that one. So it just stabbed into these sell stops here, internal, and then ran out the short chasers. So this morning in the Twitter DM, this is the addition to the annotation. So this order block that I'm anticipating get railroaded. The sell side liquidity pool after we found sensitivity off these sell stops here, and then this PD array that is, I'm fairly certain it's called indigo. I just called it an inverted volume imbalance until I was told different. So let's take a look at how price bounced in between price action in the higher time frames, right? So we got our higher time frame annotations noted. And we got midnight, trades up, leaves that double top, takes internal pool. So it did the same thing down here, up here. It took this high here, but left that one alone. So this is a double top. 15-minute order block here. Trades down for the London liquidity run into a discount, back into the new week opening gap here. And as a matter of fact, we should probably have that on our charts as well. Okay, so finds a little weird model in here, leaves a double bottom. So that's bait. That's your double bottom bait. So always mark that off. And then trades back up for the, what is that? That is another old week opening gap, right? Or was that a new day opening gap? Either way, it's a gap. And it comes back for consequent encroachment, taking buy side liquidity here. Breaker here. Low, higher high, lower low. Now the reason I'm choosing these ones is because they're the nicer looking ones. They've got the most volume. I mean, you can choose this one, but I wouldn't, just because these two are bigger and it's the lowest low before the high. So this was boop, perfect. And then subsequently, bearish order block. When is it time for price to do its little Judas thing? 7 a.m. We would look for something, right? Draw liquidity here. Order block here. If you took that, this provided something. There wasn't nothing there. 137 ticks, nothing to shake a stick at. Obvious place to terminate the trade would be this candlestick with no wick. Not terminate, but pay the trader here. And I would have been aiming for this, really. And this, if I was playing that. But I wasn't. And I was hanging out with Sam and my kid this morning, and I totally seen this afterward, but this is why we practice, right? This is why we're in practice mode, so we can see this stuff. So we've dipped into a pool of liquidity. We made our order block here with a fair value gap. This is very, very strong, closing above the midway point of our gap here. Looks very strong. I'm excluding this from the analysis. I'm trying to pretend for a second that none of that exists. We got to be honest within our analysis. So because we closed above the thing here, what would I be using for an entry? It's up to you. You can use the fair value gap. You can use the wick. And if you waited for that, you wouldn't have gotten a fill. Rides up. Pay yourself 40, 60, 80 ticks. Stop at entry. Comes back on you. Your position is secured. Then now you're just waiting for opening bell. Look at that. Look at how opening bell dives into this order block here. I was considering at this point this to be the top of the day. I mean, it still is so far, but I was expecting this daily order block, the blue shaded area, to get railroaded violently. So that's why it was added on the chart. Once we found that sensitivity, I said have this sell side liquidity pool, which is above the midway point of the order block. That's bait. Okay, this is retail bait, and everybody's going to feel comfortable putting their stop losses there. So we'll have that on the chart. Now, once we made this, after this sensitive move here, you guys, there's your order block. And it's freaking perfect and goes right to where you would have expected this order block to go. Why didn't this one run? Because it wasn't time. Why did this one run? Because it was time. Boom, right back up to buy side liquidity, bearish breaker. So here's your buy side liquidity pool here. Bearish breaker. Oh, is that perfect again? Damn near. Couldn't close above the midway point. Closes a down close candle. Bearish order block. And does what? Runs to the other gap. Hilarious, right? I know. It's sweet. It's pretty sweet. Especially when it moves this well. So if you were able to study this, congratulations. You banked a lot of experience points today. Myself included. It was just awesome to be able to go, okay, it's likely going to do this now, and then it did it. It was so much fun to just sit here and watch it do exactly what we would expect candlesticks to do. A lot of you guys were in the 5-minute going, wow, what a nice order flow. Very nice. Very nice. And look at the dive, the animated dive here, right? Look at the midway point in this gap. It's time for price to get its arse moving, right? So if it's trading back down and busting through PD arrays, yeah, aim for the orange box. This was another annotation. Once we had that single clean pass back above, I said mark that with this immediate balance price range. And coming here, right, taking that pool liquidity, digging through and into our order block again, and not taking that. Isn't that weird? It's almost like it's doing something very specific. And if you don't know what that is, it's generating liquidity for tomorrow. And it's going to be really weird. So, and I mean, as far as candlesticks are moving, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Contrast this with the days that are not so gorgeous. The days you're getting frustrated. Use this week as a reflection of the perseverance that you need to be consistent, be patient, be strategic, and also it's hard to put these into words. When you're in a state of despair and price isn't willing to run, take this Friday that totally pumped me. Okay, when you're in a state of fight or flight, this is what happens. And it's instinctual. And you have to understand that it's instinctual. And you need a way to mitigate these instincts, because you might be able to see the draw, but you might time it incorrectly. And the market might not have anything to provide you. Even though you're up 150, maybe even 600 ticks, you're expecting a run, like 1,500 tick run. And you want to be a part of it, and you just can't let it go. You're in fight mode. You just want to, at all costs. It's like, have you ever seen a walrus that gets double crossed? That thing will die and fall off the edge of the earth until it gets you back. That's what happens to us. We take a loss, we feel betrayed, we feel wronged, and immediately we got to go back swinging. And that's completely counterproductive. Oh yeah. So when price just isn't willing to run, and it doesn't show you a willingness to want to run, especially by about 10:15 a.m., and PD rays are breaking and it's just chopping, that's when you gotta quit. And again, this drove it home for me. So when price actually does move into a pool of liquidity and a higher time frame array, can you take a trade? Absolutely. Not right now. Then right now is gambling, in my opinion. It just so happened that it was nice today. But I'm saying when it's not election time and it's a permissible trading day, what does that tell you? That draw here was everything you needed. That's everything you're waiting for. You're not pissed off that you missed out on this draw. You're going, oh, it's 9:30. This is when we're looking for movement. Boom. Rated everybody. Right here. And then what did it do? It went right back for everybody chasing that move. Because, selling pressure. It's crazy what can happen once you finally calm down the Hurricane Helene in your brain and see the charts for what they are. They're here to rob us. They're perfect. They're very, very, very controlled and intricate where they want to go, what time they're going to go there. Now, we can have these expectations at these times, but that doesn't mean it has to do it. It can generate more sentiment, generate a bigger idiot box, and then have a wild run out. So, in my opinion, this is our new idiot box here. And personally, if depending on our bias, so the commitment of traders basically says we're net long, buying underneath old lows. For me personally, I would like to see a repricing lower to some degree and then start making its all-time high. Excuse me. No, he was good. He was just on the potty. My wife was outside. So yeah, what are we looking at? It's like, that's pretty much it. She's bouncing in between PD rays. She's chopping out. Doesn't really want to run into a major pool of liquidity just yet. And this is expected for tomorrow. Now, fortunately for anybody that was on low risk trades today and profitable, it worked in a wide range for something for you to capitalize on, especially if you're content. And I want to make this clear, okay? The reason why I personally would rather have you not trading at all is so that you can not only study and take advantage of studying, but so you can practice discipline. Because but for many of you, that's why you're here. And if you don't practice it, you lose it. That's what a practice is. It's breakdancing, it's martial arts, it's race car driving, Olympic swimming, just whatever it is, it's a practice. So being disciplined is a practice, and it doesn't just come to you. You don't wake up and all of a sudden, oh yeah, today I'm disciplined. No, it takes a mental effort of you imagining you doing it and then just doing it. Like just impulsively doing the right thing, right? Instead of actively not doing the right thing. So for the majority of you, it's very important that you just stay out. For some of you, you can find trades. You can take losses. You're okay with that. But you got to ask yourself and be true in your own self. Do you have the self-control to take a net negative trade or day? See, that was my biggest problem. I'm so good at reading price that I just refuse to take a net negative day. And when there's nothing to offer me that day, that's when I end up chopping myself up. Now, this has been a while, other than that Friday. Like, my hiccups have been far and few in between. And they just keep getting less and less, which is great. But that was my biggest issue, taking a net negative day. Now I'm fine with it. Now my biggest issue is seeing the run and not letting it go. That's my biggest issue now. So, working through it together. I mean, just right back to the new week opening gap, right? Like, why wouldn't it? So you can see how this is acting like your presentation for value gap, and it just uses it as a magnet until the magnets turn on the same poles, and then all of a sudden price just starts freaking. So yeah, that's not to say you can't find scalps. That's not to say you can't find trades when, don't trade before election and then it's freaking perfect. And you're like, well, if that's up to you to put your risk up, and if you can actually be one and done, then you've got to trade. Or, whether it's a winner or a loser, then it's all up to you and your self-control, right? 3 ticks and drawdown on that one. Are you kidding me? So I'll give you another little piece of the puzzle. This candle right here, this 10-15 candle, okay? Notice what happened just to the left of it. It made a high here, lower low, higher high. So what's this here? If this gets broken after, it's likely not going to do much for the rest of the day. Okay, this should not have been broken, and you can see how this was snapped through one single clean pass there, showing order flow was bearish. After 10-15, if you start breaking bullish PD arrays, you're offside, and it's likely not going to be very awesome in its delivery. So yeah, I don't know. Today's just whatever. Beautiful, nothing Monday. This is kind of what we would want for a very nice week, and we've got a nice range to wipe out. So if we come for the bottom of this range and we come back up through here, it's likely going to be very vicious, because this will all be efficiently delivered. So that's what we'll be waiting for. And that's about it for today, you guys. Enjoy your lives. Pray for the people we need to pray for these next few days. And replenish your mental capital. God bless you, and we'll see you soon. You're welcome.